Hi everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Icaro and today we're talking about my matron goddess, Hel, and an all UPG video. So if you don't know, UPG stands for Unverified Personal Gnosis. So everything I'm going to be talking about here is basically things that I feel, things that I have kind of found out and have been given to me and shown to me by the goddess while working with her. So if you're more interested in the mythology and the literature, I will link some videos below that I like and you can go for that. So this is going to be completely like off myth at some points and fully my personal experience. So starting out, how I chose to work with Hel. I love tarot. I've been working with tarot for quite a few years now. I teach workshops. I write about it in my newsletter, my Therapy Tuesday newsletter on Substack. If you guys want to subscribe, it's for free. Completely free. It'll always be free. And in my tarot experience, I've discovered the runes. The runes are this alphabet. It's these symbols here, and it's basically a Norse alphabet. That has magical properties. They have magical symbolism, they have magical meanings, and people use it a lot for divination work, divinatory work. And I just really connected to this system. I've been learning from it, and this paired with tarot is magical. It's absolutely magical, at least in my practice. Now, you don't have, of course, to be a rune master to work with any of the Norse gods. But I really vibed with this. And of course, you know, Odin is the one credited to have given humanity with the gift of the runes. So I have worked with Odin a lot. I still do. He's still around and he's still one of my, I guess, patron deities. But Odin, in my experience, he flies around a lot. Oops. He is always around, he's always going somewhere. So he doesn't always spend time with you. And I'm needy. I'm someone that I feel in my craft a bit like a baby still. So I would like, that was my thing. I wanted a deity that would ground me. That I can always kind of, in meditation, travel somewhere, because I wanted to strengthen my visualization skills. I wanted to strengthen my journeying and my meditation skills. So to me, it kind of came very clearly that Hel, right? In the mythology, Hel never leaves her realm, which is actually also called Hel or Helheim. But in traditional literature, it's just called Hel. And it's not the Christian Hel. This one's spelled H-E-L, just one L. And it actually means hidden. It kind of meant, I believe it used to be called Kel, which was kind of like the grave mound. And in a lot of traditions, I know African traditions, that comes from African traditions. Some African traditions have this belief of heaven is actually in the earth, because we bury our dead in the earth. Food, plants, trees, even water, right, comes from the earth. So it must be like down there, right? So I thought that to be really, really interesting. So then I've decided to work with Hel, to connect with her, to kind of go into her realm in meditation and feel that vibe. And then she actually reminded me a lot of Kali, because Kali looks really fierce. She may even look a little scary for those that don't know the symbolism and the energy behind it. And Hel to me is the same. She can look fierce, and she can look a bit intimidating and scary if you don't know the energy behind it. And I was fully expecting this kind of darker energy, underworld energy and things like that. And I'm not gonna lie, she does give off that energy, but what I felt more prominent in the most, and when I first started connecting with her, the first energy that came was a very peaceful and motherly and caretaker energy. And then actually when you go into the mythology and you actually watch other videos, Dr. Crawford is a great one. She is the caretaker of the dead. She is the caretaker of our ancestors. And really, she made a lot of sense to me because I do work with ancestral energy more so than angelic energy, for example. And I know that Odin has Valhalla. I know that Freya has Folkvangar, which are these halls where the warriors go to. But really, the lay person goes to hell. They go to Helheim. So in my mind, I was like, I'm not a warrior. I don't know who would be classified as a warrior nowadays. Perhaps a soldier or something. But I and my family most likely will go to Helheim. So to me, it just made sense. And years ago, when I was connecting with Kali, I was also expecting this dark, fierce, fiery energy. And she does have that. But the energy that really comes prominent is peace. It's a very friendly, motherly, calm energy. And of course, then you feel the fire, you feel the energy of Kali, and then you feel the energy of Hel. But it's not something that is meant to scare you. Once you feel that love, you understand that the fierceness comes from protection. It symbolizes protection. It symbolizes fierceness before the enemies, for those that don't want the best for you. But for you, it's love, right? It is protection. It is a very motherly figure. So working with her, when you look at her image, she gives, in the mythology, she's described as kind of half blue, black, and half alive, half beautiful woman. A lot of scholars and artists have since depicted her as kind of half corpse and half alive, half beautiful woman. And over time that I've been working with her, I really feel that energy. I really do feel that she is both decay and spring. You know, in the recording of this video, it is spring. It's spring outside. And I've been working with her through the winter. That makes sense, right? When you start working with a death goddess for Samhain or Halloween, for example, it makes sense to a lot of us. So I was kind of expecting perhaps Freya to come through or Thor to come through in the spring. They didn't. I mean, I feel their energy around because I do work within the Norse pantheon more so than others. But working with Hel, her alive side came through more. And she's associated with Hagal, the rune of Hagal, which looks like an H. It looks like an H, Hagal or Hagalas. And this means hailstorm. So when you think of hailstorm, you do think of destruction. You think of decay because the hail comes and it's fierce and destructive and it kills the crops. But the thing is, hail is ice. And after the ice melts, it becomes water and it waters the soil, bringing through new life. And to me, that's Hel. She is that in between, but also it's interesting to say because to me, she does feel the in between liminal space, but also the extremes of yes, decay, but also yes, new life. So when spring came through, I wasn't really surprised that she's like, no, let's keep being friends. Let's keep working together because there's a lot more for us to do. I've also noticed that she really likes the number 11. I know 9 because of the 9 realms, and 9 is a very Norse number, but 11 also. 11 is a powerful number because to me, it looks like her two sides, but also the two pillars of the High Priestess. We also see that in the Hierophant and Justice. She also likes the number 2 because 1 + 1 = 2. And the 2 is also her two sides, right? And her two sides, her many faces, I guess you could say. So she reminds me also of Baphomet. I don't work with Baphomet a whole lot, to be honest with you. I know the symbolism of Baphomet, and I appreciate it. I just haven't personally gone there yet. But it reminds me of that idea of light and dark, of heavenly but also earthly and even underworldly, of good and evil, and balancing the two. So when it comes to like tarot, for example, I don't have a card that when I've worked with tarot and with Hel, that she has shown me a lot. You know, I know that for, I think most of us, we would of course think of death, because she is the goddess of death. But one card that really stood out to me was specifically this card, which is Art or Temperance in the Thoth deck. And it's because we have two faces. And the two faces have the two moons. And the two faces, of course, one is blue and one is white, right? We could look at this as one is alive, one is dead. So it just really felt like a symbol of Hel to me. And because of Temperance, because Temperance is about the alchemy of the two extremes. And that is very Hel, even in her symbolism, even in her appearance, you see the decay in life, and it's really about the two, right? So to me, Temperance felt more aligned with it. But this isn't to say when I see Temperance, it's her and her alone. In my experience, there's the message behind it. But that's what I've found so far. I think it was last year, I took a course called Basic Witch with Vix Maxwell. She is known as the New Age hipster. I'm gonna put her links below. She's amazing. She's an incredible spiritual teacher. And I've been following her since the beginning of my spiritual path. I haven't gotten sick of her. I always want her information and her knowledge. So then she did this course called Basic Witch, and I feel like a newbie myself when it comes to my craft. And I wasn't fully connecting with Hel at that time. I was kind of Hel curious, but I wasn't fully there yet, and that's okay. So I did the course, and at the end of the course, there's a meditation called Initiation. And I didn't do it right away. It just didn't feel right. It wasn't time, and that's okay, right? When you take courses, really your path is the most important. And I wasn't going to lose access to the meditation. There's still access to it for us that were students. So I was like, okay, I have time and I can plan this out. And I didn't really plan it. It was more of a feeling. And I did it somewhat recently. And it was a magical meditation. It was absolutely amazing. And the visuals I got and everything. And towards the end, Hel was there and she guided me, and I saw many other beings. And it really wasn't even a circle, it was a sphere of all these beings and all these energies. And she was with me in the center of it. And I've meditated with her before. This was just it felt really big, and this initiation meditation felt very confirming that maybe not forever, I don't know, but for a while, she is being my matron deity. She's the main one that I'm working with right now. But I've meditated with her before, and she always comes to me with like a black cloak, and her skin is very gray. I don't see her full body as half and half. I do see her face and one arm as a skeleton, but the rest is gray. Whether that's right or not, it's not the point of this video. Again, I said it's all my UPG, my unverified personal gnosis. So that's how I have seen her, or how she has shown herself to me. And there has been a lot of love there and a lot of teachings. And another reason why the Temperance card was really important to me is because, especially in this deck, was the two moons here. Because when I was meditating with her, I felt this energy of moon energy and water energy. Perhaps something I'm supposed to work with. So when I saw not only the two faces, but the moons, I was like, okay, you're kind of giving me a confirmation, right? But if you work more with the RWS deck, You perhaps can see her as a high priestess because that is related to the moon. You can even see her as the moon card because the moon card is that depth, that unconscious, that underworld energy. That's a very moon card energy. One thing that I've noticed as well for her signs is she likes palindromes. If you don't know what a palindrome is any number or word that reads the same forward as it does backwards. A little while back, I was shopping, and when I saw my bill, it was $27.72. So you see what I mean, like $27.72, you read that backwards, it's the same, $27.72. Not only that, but I thought it was cool because 7 plus 2 is 9, and that's the 9 realms of the Norse mythos. So I thought that was really, really cool. So she likes palindromes. That's been my experience. Doesn't have to be yours. This list is by no way extensive. Another thing that I've noticed is offerings. I know that a lot of people that work with deities, these deities ask for offerings. They want a candle, they want crystals, they want jewelry. Hel hasn't asked for anything. I have given her offerings. There's an oil that a friend of mine made. She actually makes deity oils, and she makes other energy oils. And she made a Hel oil, and of course, I had to get the big size. She has like a smaller size and a big size. I got the big size. I was like, we're gonna work with her for a while. So I've, of course, gave her as an offering, and she has been delighted. And I have given her some candles over time. But to have a specific thing that she said, hey, I want this, she really hasn't. There is a crystal that I use a lot, and I'm trying to find it. It's not in front of me. It's a clear quartz with a skull raven, a raven's skull in the. It's a clear quartz in the shape of a raven skull. I'm just trying to get that out. And I love that crystal. It really, when I hold it, it just makes me feel kind of grounded and connected and actually safe. When I started working with Hel, she didn't say, hey, get another one. Get a smoky quartz, or I don't want that one. I want a black crystal, right? Because she is the goddess of the underworld. So we think black or skull a lot, even though it is a raven skull. But it's really more about she has enhanced things that I already like and things that I already gravitate towards. She says, yes, grab that. Use it. Like that connects with you. Use it more. So I love that she, what it feels to me that she's not vain, for example. She is okay not being like the center of attention, and being given all these offerings and all this praise and all this thing. She does want, of course, like any kind of relationship, she wants your time, she wants your attention, and she wants to talk to you, as I, of course, want to talk to her. Now, from my collection of decks, 2 decks have stood out to me as her favorites, I'm going to say, but it's just because, again, I have these decks and I really like these decks just personally. So this isn't to say, go out and buy it if you want to connect with her, because I don't feel that she is, for lack of a better word, a capitalist. She's not being like, you only talk to me through this deck. You don't have that deck yet? Go buy it. She's not very much like that. So the first one is the Earthly Souls and Spirits Moon Oracle. I really love this deck. This deck actually really surprised me because, of course, I love the art. It's very witchy. It's all these witches. It's very hearth, very magical. Just makes you feel like a witch, it makes me feel like a proper witch, and the keywords are simple enough: enchanted, mindful, light, create, one more, goddess, for example, wisdom. So there are many other decks with these keywords, but the guidebook is good. Actually, the guidebook is great. But it's not super huge. You get basically 1 page for a message. But there's something about it that it has spoken to me in a very deep way. And there is a card in here. It's not the goddess card, believe it or not. I forgot what it was called. Celestial. It's this one. And for some reason, I guess maybe because the witch that appears here looks gray. To me, this is the Hel card. Every time I get this card, I just really felt her presence and her energy. So through that, I've worked with this deck with her, and it has been quite magical. Now, I haven't actually touched this deck in a few weeks because I have the Marielle Tarot, and Hel has really liked this deck, and I love it too. It really is, in my opinion, a great deck. It is very different than a, let's say, traditional tarot. Of course, it has parallels, but it's very different. So even if you don't know tarot and tarot perhaps intimidates you, I use this like an oracle, basically. So I use this, I pull a card, and I go to the guidebook. Because a lot of the time, because I know the guidebook is gonna be so different than, for example, the Three of Cups. I know what the Three of Cups means in the tarot, but I know that the guidebook is going to give me something completely different, that I don't really bother with the image. I get the card and I go, okay, Three of Cups. Let's look at what the Three of Cups means in the book. And then over time, you familiarize yourself with the deck. But she has really liked this one. And maybe it's because I love red, but maybe it's because it's this half and half kind of energy. I don't know. But also she calls it, the artist here, which is Marie White, she says Landscapes of the Abyss is what she calls this deck. Marielle Tarot, Landscapes of the Abyss. So perhaps because it's the Abyss and that's Hel, she likes that deck. But that has been, my experience when it comes to decks. But also, like I said, she doesn't really ask for anything new. I have worked with traditional tarot, with the Thoth. I've worked with the RWS. And she's perfectly fine with that. Now, this point perhaps is the most out there point. Okay, so in the mythology, she is known as Loki's daughter, right? Loki has children with a giantess called Underworld, and Hel, Fenrir, and Jormungandr come out, right? Jormungandr is the world serpent, Fenrir is the giant wolf, then we have Hel, who becomes the queen of Helheim, or the queen of the underworld. In Norse mythology, there's Ragnarok, aka the apocalypse, basically, right? Where all the gods go to war with each other. Now, in the mythologies, Jormungandr and Fenrir fight Odin and Thor, respectively, I think. So anyway, the gods fight each other, but it's never clear that Hel is in there. She's in her realm, in her world. I do believe that she sends an army of the dead, which I actually use that symbolism a lot for my protection. When I'm doing protection, I do call upon the army of the dead, especially upon the army of my ancestors. And that comes through. So anyway, she kind of stays in this world. And then Ragnarok happens. We know that Odin, Thor, Jormungandr, Fenrir, and many of the other gods perish. But Hel doesn't. She is, actually after that, the Hel gates kind of open and she releases herself, and Baldur as well is another god that's there, and the ancestors. So to me, in my opinion, she lives beyond the mythology. She lives beyond time and space. We, as humans, have to be born somehow, right? We have to be born through a mother. So to me, Hel chooses to be born through Underworld, but it's almost like her spirit, her essence, her soul, I don't know, I'm not sure what to call it, is much larger than just being born into this goddess energy. Actually, she's not even born a goddess, she kind of becomes one, right? As she becomes, because in the mythology, she's cast down into this void, basically, and she is given charge of the ancestors. But then through that, she becomes queen. So, little side note, but to me, she is a deep symbol of building your own world. She's a deep symbol of confidence and self-assuredness, and knowing that your circumstances, they don't define you. You get to define them. You get to build your own world, your own kingdom. So to me, she gives off that energy very beautifully. So anyway, as I was saying, to me, she's beyond just the daughter of Loki. To me, she kind of lives in this world outside of time, of cycle, of Ragnarok. Because basically, she is the only thing coming for everyone, even the gods. If you're familiar with Norse mythology, there's also the apples of Eden, right? The Garden of Eden. You see the parallels a little bit here. But in the Norse version, these apples, they give the gods youth and life and vitality. There is a moment there where I think Loki gets involved and they lose access to these apples. So the gods start getting really old, which tells me that the gods, if they don't keep eating this apple, they will die. Hell will come for them. So I love that energy of this goddess being outside of space-time myth. One thing too that I have found working with her is when I do readings for myself, you know, I pull cards for myself and things like that, and I'm meditating and I'm philosophizing and I'm journaling, trying to do this unconscious work that I do for myself and for my clients. Because she is the underworld and the unconscious is symbolically our inner underworld, I feel like I've been having a bit more, like more epiphanies, more aha moments, more clarity. Sometimes that clarity scares you because now you're meant to act on something. But that's what I've really felt with her. There has been a truth and an integrity and an authenticity with this goddess. All right, so if you've been curious about working with Hel, I know the name can be intimidating for some people. I thought it was kind of cool. That has been my experience. Let me know what yours has been. Perhaps your experience has been something completely different, or maybe you found some clarity in this video. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.